Yeah, so I'm Finn, that's Jacob, which from the
Good,
UK. Go to
good
school still,
afternoon. Yeah.
017. Yeah. If you just want to introduce yourself, just tell us what your name is, what you do, where you're from, that'd be dope.
My name is Quinn. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. 16, will be 17 in about 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. I'm a musician. And I'm the creative director of an indie label and a visual artist. And yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Right. Could you give us a brief description on specifically what you do in the music industry? What type of music you make?
As everyone knows, I didn't start out making pop music. I didn't start out that way. Although that is where I got more prominent and popular and somewhat notorious. I started out making music when I was 9 years old, and that was with cloud rap and stuff like that. And that was years back because my brother, I listened to what my big brother listened to, and that was all cloud rap and stuff. So everything on SoundCloud is what I grew up on, with a combination of the shit that I found, which was mostly electronic music. So I like to blend that a lot, especially in the pop stuff I've been doing for the past 2 years. But the thing about me and music is that the shit that I do is constantly evolving. I constantly want to do something new. So as of lately, I've been leaning away from the pop stuff and just branching out into more things, as most people know. I haven't discontinued anything. That's the word on the street.
Because you've been doing different things. It's kind of hard to keep up with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so
that's
so much shit. Yeah, it's sick though. I fucking love it.
yeah, that's the fun in it. People it's hard to keep up with. Yeah, even I have trouble keeping up with shit. Somebody mentions one of my lives, and I'm like, damn, I forgot about that. You know what I mean? I be hearing shit that I forgot that I even made, and I sometimes hear shit that I don't even remember making. You know what I mean?
How many aliases do you actually have? From the ones you can remember at least.
I'll name them. I'll name them. Osquinn. Osquinn. Cat Mother. I'm just gonna name this. I'm just gonna name the aliases that I have now, and I'm gonna name the names I've had before. I'm just gonna throw everything out there. Osquinn, as we know, P4RKR Parker. Then before that was Youngest. Then before that was 12 and Up. That's the name I started off as. And then we have the other aliases, such as Trench, Rifleman, Girl 22, Cat Mother, Medicine Man, Healer, Trench. Wait, I already said Trench, I think. Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's crazy.
Trench Dog. That's a different one. No one's found Trench Dog yet. And I'm working on another one that I already have a full album for. It's going to be a experimental hip hop project named Haley.
That sounds dope.
Yeah.
So sick.
Yeah, and I'm working with my label to we're going to release the first Haley single, the actual first Haley single onto my YouTube during my birthday. And from then on, we'll build up a campaign on that. All the while, I'm going to work on some shit for Cat Mother and a whole bunch of other shit. So that's why it's always fun to have all these aliases and stuff. It keeps the ball rolling.
Yeah.
I never get bored.
Yeah, that's insane.
Right.
God.
Wait, so what do you think it takes to be successful in the music industry? What things do you think?
It takes a few things. One thing it takes is patience. That's not something a lot of people say. It's not something a lot of people tell other people. No, it definitely takes patience.
Yeah, because you can't get big just fucking instantly.
Exactly, you can't be big instantly. I started music when I was 9. I didn't get big until I was 15. That's a long time, even though I was younger. you know, then you have other people like Kendrick Lamar, who's been doing this shit since like 2004. He didn't get noticed until 2011, 2012. You know, so it takes patience. That's one of the biggest things. I can't stress that enough. Of course, it takes talent, but I don't really tell people that it takes talent, because if you get into music, I'm sure you have some sort of spark inside of you that may or may not include talent. Like there's artists who aren't talented and they're big in the music industry, and they get into it for all the artificial things, and which I'm not a fan of. I personally don't get into music for fame and money, but there's other people who do. So even though I don't like their choice of that, I respect it. So sometimes you don't need talent. Sometimes you just need to know how to make music. So, you know, your music could be pretty boring, but you could still get up there. I wouldn't recommend it though. But yeah, you need talent. You need talent. And it's one last one. What? Discipline. Definitely.
Yeah.
Discipline. If you want to keep an image up, you have to learn how to deal with people who don't fuck with your image. You know what I mean? As a lot of people know, I won't say most, I'll say a lot. A lot of people know I have a history of letting people get to me and letting people get to me expressing my emotions over social media for all of my fans to see. Not all of my fans, but a good amount of them, especially on Twitter. Because over the past year, I've built up that annoying on Twitter status. Over last year, not the past year. The past year, I haven't really been active on it, and that's because of last year. You know, so you have to, especially for younger artists, you got to learn how to maintain your image, and you gotta learn how to not make a fool of yourself in front of people, because sometimes what you think. Sometimes what you think is cool may or may not be cool in the eyes of other people, and I don't mean like fashionably or trendy cool. I mean as like morally cool. You know what I mean?
I get you.
Know, like the way you talk to people, the way you come off as a person. You have to look at yourself that way. And I'm not saying you have to change yourself completely. If you're an asshole, be an asshole. I guess that's a part of your image. I'm pretty sure that won't. As most people say, it'll fuck with how you come up, and it'll fuck with like the process, and you won't be able to make it in the industry. But nah, a lot of people who are bigger are assholes, and they came up from being assholes. So if you're an asshole, then be an asshole. But that does have its repercussions. You're gonna get into a lot of beef. A lot of people's not gonna like you. Yeah, because like you have somebody like I don't know. Let's say Kanye. He's not. I won't lie. Like Kanye's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite artists. I grew up on him. I don't listen to him. He's still one of my favorites. But we can all agree that he's been an asshole on numerous different occasions.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Whether he can control it or not, like that's something. It's shit that he's done and said that caused him to be an asshole. But he's still one of the most famous musicians in history, I'll say. He's still one of the most famous musicians in history. Sometimes when you're an asshole, you're untouchable, but not emotionally. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just be careful. Discipline is a huge one in my book. It may not be in anybody else's book, but definitely my book, man. Like I don't want to go out there and make a fool out of myself. I just like to lay low and keep what I do outside of music a secret. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Cool.
But
Would you think that like any school subjects would like help you to get to the level which you're at, or do you think it's purely just out of your own way?
No, it's out of my own way. I remember freshman year of high school, I applied to this music tech class that was at my old school back in Virginia. And I got rejected, not because I didn't qualify for it, but it was just already full for every period. Like, okay. But it wasn't until junior year, which is this year in my high school. It's this year, and I applied to it again, and I got in. and I ended up going. I applied into it like in junior year. No, in freshman year, I applied to it so I could learn more about music, basically. But now I went into it as a junior, like, oh, this will be an easy A, and that it was. It was an easy A. I was basically teaching people, you know. I ended up becoming the head of a media production club after school, which was pretty big. You know, I taught people. One side of it was teaching people like music and stuff and how to make music and just hanging out and chilling. We had like a studio set up, it was a huge studio too. Because this was an art school, so the art school was big. It had a lot of opportunities. And you know, I taught people on one end there was the music, and I taught people the music. On the other end there was like audio, visual, which my other friends taught that. And you know, like, yeah, so school does play a part in what I do, but it plays more of a part in the leadership role. I help people out with music and the music tech. Now that led up to me, you know, finding my love for being like taking up leadership in music and helping people out. So now I'm a creative director of a label. You know what I mean? So
that's insane.
Yeah, so like classes and shit do go hand in hand with me, with music, but not with the music itself. More so the image, kind of, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's good. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, do you think you're gonna do anything beyond music? Do you have like any aspirations beyond music, other things?
One thing, some things I take up, which you could find on my website, is visual arts, like you know, sketching, drawing, and then photography. Yeah. And then videography, of course. I shoot all my own videos, except for the video I'm releasing on my birthday. I didn't shoot that one. Yeah, my man Richard did that one. But yeah, I do all that, and I'm also a graffiti artist, which I don't talk about. Yeah, I don't talk about that a lot for obvious reasoning. But yeah, like, I don't know, like the graffiti communities, it's cool, but online it could be harsh. Yeah, so I don't talk about it online.
I've seen so much shit with the group. They just shit on each other for like the dumbest reasons. But like with all this shit, like how do you actually manage your time? Because that's a lot of stuff you're doing.
One day I wake up and I'm like, it's like my life's like Phineas and Ferb, you know. So one day I wake up and I'm like, damn, I know what I'm gonna do today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just wake up and I know what I'm gonna do, and I do it. And it's usually along the line of one of those things. If it's along the lines of another, like, sort of arts or sort of, you know, type of shit, I'm gonna do it. Recently, I've been looking more into, like, writing, like, poetry and shit. I'm like, damn, that's dope.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah.
So if I become a poet or a writer one day, don't be surprised.
Yeah, that's sick. How often do you spend time, like, actually making your music? Because, like, obviously you talked about doing other stuff, but like music specifically, how much time do you reckon you'd spend doing it?
It depends. For example, on Drive By Lullaby, each track took about the whole day, and I mean like in like a literal sense, the whole day, an entire day. Yeah. Not I don't mean like, oh, I was up the whole day, finished the track, went to sleep. Nah, I mean like basically like the whole noon to evening. You know, sometimes I work on tracks at night, preferably at night, which is where like the more calmer tracks come from, mostly at night. And yeah, so most of those tracks on DVL took about a day. But if you're talking like other shit like Cat Mother and stuff, those take I don't have to write lyrics to do vocals, so those take at least an hour, at most 5.
Wow.
Each track, you know. And you know, sometimes I really like to take my time with tracks, and they end up taking like a week. Because I'm like, okay, let me go back and change this, that, and that, and then I release it after like a week or so, and I'm like, okay, it's perfect. But yeah, these tracks on the project I'm releasing on my birthday, these tracks take about, they don't take long. They take about an hour or two, vocals included. Because when it comes to like rap, when it comes to rapping and shit, that's easy. I could do like that's fucking easy. I don't have to plan out like progressions in my voice or nothing like that. I could just hop on the mic and just, you know, just start spitting shit. But yeah, so that's about how long my songs take each project. But if we're talking like Rifleman, those songs don't take long. Those songs take about an hour each and every one of them. Like the mashups, those take like the fucking the Love Sosa and Tommy mashup took about like 20 minutes. Yeah, not even 20 minutes, probably 10. Yeah, it didn't take long.
Oh my god, that's insane. That is what?
Hard as well.
Yeah, I was in a voice chat just like this one, and I was like, yo, what if I matched up with Tommy and Love Sosa? And it was like, I don't know how that would sound. I matched it up, and I was like, yo, like I was like, I know, right? That shit crazy. Then I played with the EQ. I played with it. It did on TikTok.
Yeah, I remember that. Fucking.
I saw like, cause I don't know how, but Dr. Miami used it, and then that became a part of a trend that everybody else started doing.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Oh. Exactly.
So, like, what's like the most enjoyable part about being in the industry and stuff? Like all of it, like visual and music.
You said the most enjoyable part?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I enjoy a lot of it. Almost all of it. If you ask me, about almost all of it. The only thing I wouldn't enjoy is probably the social media aspect, like the social, because sometimes talking to supporters and fans is like a pain in the ass. And not as much nowadays, thank God. You know, my fans, you know, the more immature fans never stay for a while. They go around, and they've had their wave. That was like last year. They're gone now, if I'm not mistaken. You know, like but the social aspect still kind of is like the least fun part, because sometimes I find myself tweeting, and then I tweet something, and I get like a stomach full of anxiety. I'm like, damn, should I have tweeted that? What did I say? Like, how are they going to take that? But you know, but yeah, the social part is the least fun part, because sometimes shit gets so bad where it changes. It starts to change you as a person in each little and every aspect. And I won't lie, the social aspect of music it's forced me to mature. And honestly, I'm not mad at that. Like, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything, or like I don't feel like I'm missing out on a childhood or nothing, because I don't know. I believe a childhood is however you spend your life as a child. It doesn't have to be a certain way. But yeah, I'm still going through my childhood, so I'm not mad. I don't feel like I missed out on anything. If anything, I feel like I've learned more from the social aspect, but the learning part was not fun. So the social aspect is not fun. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
But like, how has it been? Obviously, as a trans person yourself, and I am too. Like, how has it been coming up in the industry as a trans person?
All right, one to another. It's been. I won't lie to you. It's been rough, but not like not like stupid rough. Like, oh damn, like damn, not like rough as in like, oh damn, like this guy just tried to kill me. None of that. No, not yet, at least. Which is sad to say, but not yet. But there are like those groups of people who will try to troll you for God knows how long. There's one group of people.
Be that. That's the fucking problem.
Exactly, that's the issue. And they'll try to reach out, they try to troll you, try to think that you are shit, try to say like, yeah, you're not shit. I remember there's one group of people whom I will not name, because God knows if they could be listening in on this call or whatever the fuck. But they were on my ass for a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Um, and back then I wasn't really keen on blocking people because I felt like, oh, if I block them, that's what they want, and I won't let them have that. So I'm just gonna let them get at me until they're tired of it. But what I wasn't thinking about is where I would be tired of it, and I was tired of it from the jump. So now they was getting at me, and I was getting my feelings hurt, but I wasn't letting them know that I was getting my feelings hurt. So I thought they would stop, but no, they just kept going and they kept going and they kept poking at me until I finally blocked them, and it just all stopped. And I'm like, wow, damn, like the block. Yeah, that's all. That when people told me it's all it takes, I didn't believe them or anything. I thought they would make new accounts or something like that, but no. I got fed up with their shit. I blocked them. End of story.
They don't got the time for that.
They don't got time for that, man. Exactly. And one thing, well, this is where the discipline part comes in. I've dealt with lots and lots of trolls. I think it's safe to say maybe like in the hundreds. I've dealt with many trolls. Not directly either. Directly, I'd only say about a handful I've spoken to personally. Sometimes you respond to a troll and they backtrack and they're like, oh, like, my bad, this, that, and the third. And and that's a good satisfaction. But at the same time, you got to keep up the image as an artist, and you got to be like, like it's all good, man. Just like, don't do that shit again. Nah, I'm telling you, like, no other artist would probably say something like that. That's just something I'd say, but I just be like, that's what I tell trolls when whenever they like fold or something. They're like, oh, I didn't know it made you feel. They're like, oh, I was just playing, lol, chill, LMAO, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, no, you're all good. Just don't do that shit again, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. In such rare cases, some people who troll you, you never know. You could fucking enlighten them or something, and then they can end up being like one of your good friends. There's this one group of people who was trolling me for about a good 2 years also. Or so I thought they were trolling me, because sometimes some people, because when you get trolled long enough, when you get like nagged at long enough, you think that the littlest things are like people trolling you. There's this one group of people who kept tweeting at me for such a long time, and I could have swore they were just harassing me, this, that, and the third. And then I actually spoke with them, and then like they were like, nah, nah, we love your shit, and we're like, they like saw me as one of theirs, which is why they kept tweeting at me. And I was like, oh, yeah, like, shit, my bad. Like, you know what I mean? So to wrap all that up, it is tough coming up as a trans person, mainly because of the troll. That's literally it. It's just the troll. You'll still have a normal experience if you're in the right place. You gotta pay attention to what I just said right there. I said if you're in the right place. That's an important part. But yeah, that's all. It's just a troll. Now that I think about it, like,
you're gonna get it, like, no matter where you are.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable.
Yeah,
As a trans artist, there's a lot of artists out there who live like peaceful lives as a musician. Unfortunately, that's not the case for trans artists. Like, every trans artist has a troll, and once the troll gets a hold of you, it's going to be hard getting them to let go of you, and they'll try to paint you as like this, not a horrible person, but this sensitive ass person, and you'll be a joke on the internet for such a long time, and it's so dehumanizing. You know what I mean? So it's really upsetting, but luckily, luckily in like the recent past, I've been seeing less and less of that, a lot less of that. People have started to. The main reason hyperpop became really a joke is because a lot of like fucking incel dudes was just clowning on that genre, saying a whole bunch of transphobic jokes about it, and then everyone spun it off and made it into their own jokes. Now the whole genre is a joke to people. But lately, it's not the case. Like, people have really dialed back on that shit.
No, 100%.
But the last thing I would say is sometimes trolls will go further as to, and I know you've probably seen this once or twice. Trolls will go as far as to like trying to hack your shit. You know what I mean?
The fucking
Try to like
crazy
try to hack
scary,
your shit, take something from
scary,
you. Yeah, it's scary, man.
6ix9ine, like the other month for that whole Spotify thing. It was awful.
That 6ix9ine Spotify shit was crazy. Yeah.
But it's like,
it was awful.
I'm just trying to be me. Like, why the fuck? Like, there's no need to do this shit. It's disgusting.
Exactly. And there's negative effects on the hacking, of course, but you know, it'll die down as time goes on, because because these hacks that they do, they're really not that good, if I'm being honest.
They always just get resolved. It's so easy.
Exactly. And recently some guy claimed my YouTube topic page, which it did piss me off quite a lot, because he cut like a good $9,000 from my salary. But then I realized, you know what, I was like, you could have that, because I won't say how much I make, but I make much more than $9,000 yearly.
That's
okay, you can have that. You can have that. I met with my label. I came up with a new idea. Like, okay, instead of making 9,000 yearly from YouTube, we could move all my shit, or we can put my shit on Bandcamp, have the fans buy that, and the money directly goes to me. Then that could be way more than 9,000 yearly, because I got a friend who makes 26,000 yearly, and they're much smaller than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just off Bandcamp. Yeah, that's just off Bandcamp alone. So I'm like, okay, if I spin that around, put all my shit on Bandcamp, draw a lot of fans towards there to where they can directly support me, I could make a hella cash off of that yearly. And so fuck YouTube. And I'm saying all this. I'm saying all this to show, like, trolls. Whenever you think that they got you, there's always another way around their bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he can have the topic. It's some guy named Ryan. He can have that shit, man.
Last thing from me. How long do you reckon you'll keep like doing music for? Like, is it something you see you doing for a long time? Or
I love music. I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it like up until the day I die. Like I think this is music's in my blood. It's music's in my blood. It's in the family blood. Like everyone in my family, not everyone, but a lot of people in my family's tried out or has done music. You know, my grandfather, he delved in jazz and then became like a visual artist, like a painter. Then he joined NASA, and then he retired and became a Freemason. That is a wild career.
yeah. Oh my god.
That's a wild career. But my dad and my uncle, they were like DJs in Baltimore in the 90s and shit like that. You know, like my family has a musical career. So, I mean, it has a musical history. Now I'm carrying the torch. I'm the biggest musician out of the whole family thing, which is nice.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, exactly. 16, I'm nowhere near done.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and music is a part of me forever. No matter what part of music it is, like no matter what genre, it's a part of me. I'm always do music, and I'm always have fun with it. Yeah. And you know, I love music a lot. Even listening to music, I study music, listen to music, all that shit. I can name a bunch of artists right now that you probably won't know of, but their music will go so fucking hard because I just study music like that.
You know, I saw in your story you listen to Billy Woods. I've still yet to find someone that listens to Billy Woods as well. I think it's fucking dope. The shit that he does is insane.
He's one of my favorite artists. You know what I mean? A joke within the label, an inside joke within the label. An inside joke within the label I'm in is instead of calling it rapping, we say reading books. Because one time I went up to them, we was talking about Billy Woods, and then I butted into the conversation like, nah, I was like, Billy Woods hop on the mic and he just started reading books. And they was like, yeah, that shit, he just starts reading, man. That's what it sounds like, because he's just that good of a songwriter. But
yeah, he's insane.
Yeah, Hiding Places, one of my favorite albums.
Hiding Places, and definitely a moment.
And the shit he's done with More Mother, that album, that's a great album. But yeah, as you can see, I also love listening to music. I have like 200. I have like 250,000 minutes listened on my Spotify Wrapped. Um,
350,000. Oh my god.
yeah, I listen to music a lot. I wake up, I put my AirPods in. Like that's part of my routine.
Yeah,
But
that's insane.
yeah, I love music. That's all.
Mm.
That's pretty much it, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'm all out.
Yeah.
All I've said, your music, absolutely insane. I've been loving it. Can't even remember how long I've been listening to you. Like, you came up in my Spotify Wrapped like twice. One of them being the obsession thing, but the coping mechanism that was on repeat for so long. I can't remember what the other one was, but yeah, absolutely insane. Like, keep up. With the music.
Appreciate it.
Very
Oh
talented.
yeah, I'm gonna do music for a very long time. So I'm gonna tell you to keep up.
Bro,
Fucking the whole trans thing, that's like a huge inspiration for me, so thanks. This is big. This is big for me, like.
Thank you. I'm glad to inspire, because one of my things with this shit is that, like, if I can do it, and so can you, most definitely.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Very much. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
It's been a pleasure speaking to y'all. Thank you.
See you.